Yeah, so Lando Norris won pole for the Monaco Grand Prix, which meant he had the best path to victory. He kept the lead on lap one, and from there, just controlled the race to the end. So that's why I'm gonna give him his very first MVP of the race award, because what really constitutes a good drive at Monaco? Exactly. Anyways, Indy 500. So I've been thinking long and hard about who the MVP of the Indianapolis 500 was this past Sunday. And a lot of names came up. I think obviously Palou for winning and being in the fight the whole race. An earlier version of this recording saw me actually give it to Connor Daly, because I think Connor Daly had a splendid month of May. He was clearly carrying Juncos this whole month of May. He qualified well. He made some amazing passes for the lead and just in general, and he was in the net lead of the race before he had a tire issue that made him lose so much speed. He had to pit early, which means he had to do some serious fuel saving at the end, and he didn't get to be in the fight for the win despite being up in the front the whole race. So I was definitely considering giving this to Connor Daly, but after much thought, another person I was thinking about was maybe Newgarden, given how far back he started. But I feel like Newgarden dropped out of the race so soon. Same thing with Rossi. Newgarden and Rossi dropped out of the race a bit too soon for me to just assume they would have had a good day if everything had continued on. Given how the rest of the race went, I don't even know if Newgarden would have won. He probably would have been in the fight for the win. But given how O'Ward stalled at the end, I don't even know if Newgarden would have been good enough to make it to the front with the train that was ahead of him. But we don't know. But after watching the race, there is somebody that didn't finish that I am actually confident would have probably won the entire thing if things had gone his way. The MVP of the Indy 500 is Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ryan Hunter-Reay could have won this race. He literally could have won this race, and he wouldn't have just won it. I think he would have won it by a country mile, actually, because you look at the dying stages of this race. Ryan Hunter-Reay was 3.8 seconds at one point ahead of Marcus Ericsson. And we saw Marcus Ericsson come out in the lead ahead of Alex Palou. And then he lost the lead to Palou and he lost the race because of it. But when you factor that in, Ericsson comes out ahead of the leaders while running 3 seconds behind Hunter-Reay. Ryan Hunter-Reay, I think what puts more of an exclamation point on this drive for me is the fact that his car burnt to I shouldn't say a crisp, but his car burnt in carb day. So he had a car problem, had a fire in the back of his car on carb day last practice, and they had to replace some stuff, man. They had to do some replacements, and he starts pretty mid-pack, I guess. He didn't make fast 12, but still decent enough, and he goes on this alternate strategy. Let me just say, Dreyer and Ryan Bolt had a fantastic Indy 500 between their two cars. Hunter-Reay and Harvey looked very strong. Harvey was up there leading laps because they were on alternate strategies. And clearly, Hunter-Reay's alternate strategy was the strategy to be on. And I know this for a fact because he was one of the only people to make it work. There are a bunch of other people that did the same thing as him, but he was the only person that made it work. He was the only person that cycled into the lead, while the rest of them who were on the strategy, the rest of them who were on the strategy, they were nowhere near the front. So Hunter-Reay is leading the race, and I think it's not even a real lead because, you know, the guys behind him were the main leaders of the race while he only took the lead after certain pit cycles. But it reached a point in the race where Hunter-Reay could have made it on one more stop. And I'm like, if Hunter-Reay can make it on one more stop, then Palou and Daly and Malukas, they're not in the net lead of the race. He is. Because he's going to pit for probably less fuel, because he won't have to fill up for as many laps as the guys that pit before him. He's going to cruise to this win. And they run him so long that he runs out of fuel completely, to the point where when he comes into the pits, he can't refire the car. I originally thought it was a hybrid problem, but it wasn't. A fuel pressure problem, just like what took Newgarden out of the race. And Hunter-Reay is credited with I think a 24th, which becomes a 21st after the post-race DQs. But yeah, man, Ryan Hunter-Reay drove literally a perfect race. He led so many laps, and had he actually done a successful stop and come out, he would have been leading, and he would have probably led the most laps of the race. He would have beaten Sato's 51. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Ryan Hunter-Reay, man. Because who would have even thought that Hunter-Reay would have been a factor in this race, or any car for Dreyer and Ryan Bull for that matter? Not me. You know, we were talking about Newgarden and O'Ward and Palou, but Hunter-Reay, I didn't see that coming at all, man. Hunter-Reay legitimately could have won this Indy 500, and I think he would have won the race without that car problem. And it's a damn shame, because that would have been such an interesting end to the race. Because I'm telling you, man, I counted him out the whole race. I thought he was off sequence. I thought he would be leading near the end, and then he would have to pit, relinquish the lead, and then we'd see the real fight for the win. But he was in the real fight the whole time, man. So shout out Ryan Hunter-Reay. I said this on Twitter, but Ryan Hunter-Reay's failure to get back into the race led to Palou becoming the first DHL-sponsored Indy 500 winner since Ryan Hunter-Reay in 2014. Very poetic. But yeah, shout out Ryan Hunter-Reay, man. You, my friend, are the MVP of the Indy 500.